The War for Mansoul by John Bunyan, as told by Ethel Barrett. Copyright 1998. Christian Light Publications Incorporated, Harrisonburg, Virginia. The Breach at Field Gate. Diabolus began to play his game with Mansoul and to worry it as a lion worries its prey. He wanted to make Mansoul fall from sheer terror. First there was a streaming of colors, terrifying and dejecting to behold, and the hideous noise of Diabolus's drummer. Mansoul panicked. Then there came a furious assault on Eargate. Mansoul recoiled, but recovered and retaliated with stones from Emmanuel's golden slings. Then Diabolus cast up several mounts and put up banners bearing his own name and the names of the Furies of hell. The captains and soldiers of Mansoul kept up with their barrage, and he was forced to retreat. Then both sides dug in for the grim game ahead. Diabolus commanded the drums to be sounded all night. There was no noise ever heard so terrible, and no one could sleep who heard it. Then his drummer beat for a parley. Mansoul did not answer. Captain Sepulchre summoned them in the name of Diabolus to open the gates without further ado, and let him enter, or they would be swallowed up. The people of Mansoul made no answer to him, but they looked to the law of Prince Emmanuel, and understanding studied it intensely until he had found some comfort for them, and they were encouraged. Then Diabolus approached again for another assault. They answered him with more stones from Emmanuel's slings, and the sling stones were to him like hornets. He retreated. They rang bells for thanksgiving. Diabolus turned from threats to sugar talk. Promises, the same old ones repackaged and more clever than ever. They cried back, "Liar!" Thereupon Diabolus fell into a hellish rage, regrouped his captains, and made another furious assault. Outside Mansoul, all hell broke loose. Inside Mansoul, the defenders mounted their slings, set up their banners, sounded their trumpets, and continued fighting back. Meanwhile, they slaughtered more resident Diabolans. Casualty list of Diabolus. Captain Rage, wounded. Captain Cruel, wounded. Captain Damnation, made to retreat. Captain Much Hurt, brains beaten out. Resident Diabolans. Captain Anything and Captain Loosefoot, captured and put in chains. Casualty list of Mansoul. Lord Reason, head wound. Lord Understanding, eye wound. Mr. Mind, stomach wound. Mr. Conscience, wound near heart. Many underlings wounded. No fatalities. The Mansoul Daily Bulletin. Night Sally fails. Captain Faith wounded. A sortie of troops from beside Mansoul attempted a night attack upon the camp of Diabolus. Encouraged by recent victories, Captain Faith, Captain Goodhope, and young Captain Experience led a small hand-picked band into the enemy camp. Diabolus and his men, expertly accustomed to night work, gave them battle, and the fighting was heavy. The prince's captains fought stoutly, inflicted many casualties, and caused the army of Diabolus to make a retreat. While pursuing the enemy, Captain Faith stumbled and fell, badly wounded, resulting in disorder among the troops and causing them to retreat. The retreat turned into a rout when Captain Goodhope and Captain Experience fainted. Diabolus, supposing them to be dead, did an about-face and came upon the prince's army with hell fury and cut, wounded, and pierced them severely. What through discouragement, disorder, and wounds, the men were scarcely able, though they had, for their power, the three best hands in Mansoul, to get safely into the stronghold again. The battle continued. Diabolus, flushed with victory and encouraged by the indisposition of the three captains, came upon Mansoul again and demanded entrance. Lord Mayor Understanding replied that he, Diabolus, would have to take Mansoul by force, for as long as Emmanuel was alive, they would never yield to another. Lord Williwill added that they had been turned from darkness to light, from the power of Diabolus to Shaddai, and that though they had sustained losses, they would rather die fighting than give up. These words were like a balm to Captain Faith's wound. Williwill harassed more Diabolans within the town. Lord Brisk, Lord Opinionated, Lord Carping, and Lord Murmur among them. Some were wounded, some sorely maimed, though none were slain outright. One more try, said Diabolus. One more bout. I beat them once. I know I can beat them again. Where? Said Beelzebub. When? How? Fieldgate, said Diabolus. Night, and now, while Captain Faith and Good Hope and Experience are so badly wounded. Never be another chance like this. And how? All out assault. He gave orders to bend all forces against Fieldgate and attempt to break into town through that. The word he gave to his officers and soldiers was Operation Hellfire. Let nothing be heard in that town all night, said Diabolus, but hellfire. The drummers were also to beat without ceasing, and the standard bearers were to display their colors. The Mansoulians resisted fiercely, but after Diabolus's army struggled a while at Fieldgate, he threw it wide open, for those gates were weak and most easily made to yield. He placed Captain Torment and Captain No-Ease there and attempted to press forward, but the prince's captains came down upon them and made his entrance more difficult than he had hoped. They made what resistance they could, but 3 of their best and most valiant captains were wounded: Captain Faith, Captain Good Hope, Captain Experience. The rest had their hands full because of the doubters. They were overpowered, nor could they keep the enemy out. At the last, said Diabolus, it was their emotions that did them in.